Welcome to the RTS Podcast. My name is Ramiro Tangi, and this is where you'll find real stories around values, faith, culture, and entrepreneurship. Our goal is to inspire you to take bold action today and to help you build a legacy that impacts future generations. In each episode, we'll share stories and insights to help you take the next step with confidence. So let's get started. Welcome to the RTS Podcast. The RTS Podcast shares real stories about values, culture, and leadership to inspire bold action today and leave a legacy for future generation. In this episode, we're joined by Charlie Faumuina, former All Black and Manu Samoa rugby player, now retired from professional rugby. Charlie's story is one of resilience, humility, and transition. We explore how rugby shaped him, the values that drive him, and how he's navigating life after the game, including his new ventures and podcast. Charlie, bro, awesome to have you on board, bro. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, no, good, mate. Thanks for having me on board.
I was just mentioning before, bro, I was like going through the logistics of our potty, but like at the end of the day, it's just like a couple of lads just having a chat. But I can't help that you're All Black, bro. All Black. What's it like coming back, bro? Like integrating back, like you're back into home and like you just walking around. Like, do you still have those people who are like, oh, that's Charlie, that's Charlie?
Yeah, but you do maybe more so the older generation,
Yeah.
the guys that kind of they're surprised to see me and stuff like that. But yeah, well, you get the few, but it's not as much as when you're playing. So
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, like funny. I was with one of my staff and he's a younger teenager, and I go, all right, guess who I'm interviewing today? I'm Charlie Faumuina. And he's like, who's that? I was like, bro, that's Gen Z. That's Gen Z, man. They have no idea, bro. But appreciate your time today, bro. I guess right off the bat, man. I guess I wanted to start with the footy career, bro. While it's fresh, and I just wanted to ask a question around the last few years before we get into what you're up to nowadays. But when you retire, when you reflect on your rugby career, what are the moments you're most proud of?
yeah, I guess man, just a journey. Probably just proud of how far I've come. Like, and a boy from South Auckland. I never went to any of those flash rugby schools, so I was kind of lucky how I come through the system.
Yeah.
Just playing club rugby, and someone saw you and then invited you to come down, and from there, kind of just from there, 6 months I was in like a ITN team, and I was just and then obviously to be able to stay there and compete against all these guys, just probably that more their side. And obviously making the All Blacks, playing that, winning the World Cup, probably want like some of the highlights. But also, I think when I look back at France, that's probably like the most enjoyable part of my career was in my time in France, because it's just those guys, man. It'll be snowing and there'll be 40,000 people watching your game.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just crazy. So like when you see that and you go out to play, these guys are freezing their asses off, but you have to perform for them. It's their city. So from that point, I mean, obviously at the end, playing with Samoa was awesome. It wasn't so much the rugby that was the best part, but it was just seeing where your parents come from, seeing the sacrifices there, because we were there for like 7 weeks, just mixing with the villages. Yeah, how much that team means to the people. That was just more.
It's been, bro. It's funny how you talk about like you just a kid from South Auckland. You didn't go to a flash school, like all the I guess you had the typical traits of someone that got that wasn't meant to make it, but then you got picked up. Did you always have that? Like, was it until someone recognized you and then you kind of had that drive, or did you know that you had that talent?
Yeah, I always thought I had the talent, but I just didn't like.
Because you were a leaguey, right?
Yeah, I was a leaguey.
Yeah.
And,
Were you playing league for school or
Nah,
Panthers or?
yeah, I was playing for Otara Scorpions at
Oh,
the time.
Scorp,
And
there you
then
go.
at the end of it, I was playing for Panthers. Yeah, but I was just playing that because Papatoa High School wasn't a very big rugby school. I only switched to rugby year 12 when the team they said they were going to go to South Africa. So I was like, oh, come on, I'll come on board.
Yeah. Well,
Probably ended up going to Rarotonga, but just to get on the plane as a kid, you're pretty stoked. So
yep. And once you got recognized, was there like a switch for you, for like, man, I can really, really make it, or were you just going through the process?
when I first initially got into the academy, I was probably just happy to be there,
Yeah.
because obviously that was a big jump as well.
Get the gear.
You get the gears, yeah.
Get the gears.
And then obviously, like maybe about 4 or 5 months in, I had to sit down with one of the coaches and one of the managers there.
Who was it?
I can't remember his name. It was an Aussie fella. He was like, bro, you could be starting at the 2011 or 2015 World Cup. Like, if you really put your things in place, you could really be there. And like, I never really thought it. I was just enjoying the ride, but I wasn't trying to push further. And then when he said that, then I was like, I knuckled down and just went a little bit harder. And then it kind of just doors started opening for me.
Yeah. And we were kind of talking before offline, starting out as a 40 player, trying to climb the ranks, right? It's tough, especially in an academy where you get, some boys get contracted, some boys just cut. You just need to attend and they don't get paid as well. What were you doing at the same? Were you working at the same time?
Yeah, I was working at the same time. So I was doing my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Or building.
Right out of school?
Yeah, straight out of school. I was into my apprenticeship. So I was I was doing that, and that was from.
Were you doing it just cause you it was a trade to do? You always wanted to be a chippy?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a chippy. I always wanted to had that mindset. I always wanted to build my own house. And so I went into building and I did that. And then that obviously, like academy, you're there 6 a.m. till 7:30, and I'll go work. But obviously you're the apprentice, you're doing most of the labouring jobs. Then come back at 6 again and then do train again with the boys. But mostly, if you're I spent my whole life in the chub club, man. We were just up and down those mountains.
Did you ever graduate from the chub club? Right?
Still to this day, still in the chub club, man. So
I remember when I was in the academy and our chub club, we would run on Tamaki Drive every Monday in the morning at 5:30, and it'd be an 8K run. And I got fitter and skinnier, but I never graduated.
Yeah. Same as me, bro. We were the same. Alan was always started if we were training at Cornwall Park at One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
We'll be at the GC side and run all the way to the top of the hill.
My God.
And come back. Or if it was at Eden Park, we'd all the way to Mount Eden and come back. That was our.
I guess and during those years, bro, I think when I think back in my journey of footy in that season, it taught me a lot of discipline and because you got it. Like if you're working, if you're going training at 5:36, right, and then you're on the tools, going on site at 8 o'clock, right till 5, then back on. You gotta be disciplined, eh? And so during that time of your life, bro, how did you learn how to eat right and manage your time and balance the other things that you were doing?
I think when look back, when I was young, once I could work, my old man he would take us to his work.
Yeah.
And I'll be working with him in the holidays, like every 2 weeks or the Christmas holidays, I'll be doing a 40, 50-hour week at his job. And
what did you do?
he was they made doors. So special doors, it's for hotels and stuff like that. So it's fire rated. It's called New Zealand Fire Doors was the company.
Yeah.
But I was working there every holiday. So when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, and I think from there I just knew don't be scared of hard work or to work hard. It's all just part and parcel of your growth. And obviously seeing your dad there, he's never late. So you kind of follow. And probably that kind of I was never afraid of hard work. If they had a massive session for us, I was like, you just got to be 1 foot in front of the other. I was always last or whatever, or second to last. That didn't faze me. And I think for coaches, when you look back now, they just want to see the guys get handy, not just give up or whatever. So I was just always last, but I never gave up. That was probably
That's awesome, bro. And it's a funny time for us front rowers for preseason. When we have rugby teams having preseason in December, but the front rowers then rock out to February, and I think that's motivating for me, bro. Just don't give up, hard work, And I wanted to bring it back to the you mentioned your father, he's a record firm. Was he a big person that helped you kind of embed those values of hard work and discipline throughout your earlier life?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. He was always at our games. I had 2 other brothers. My dad will try to get to all our games in the same time, but so he'll drive from one, watch the first half, another one and a half, and then obviously the games are staggered, but one could be.
Are you the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of the 2.
Oh.
I got an older sister, and then that's all our service. But yeah, he was good for us. Yeah, he provided, and you know, as sons, seeing that you can just you just follow suited, I guess.
It's awesome to hear because like I employ a lot of young people and I work with a lot of young people and I grew up during a time where similar to you, where man, if there's money on the table, don't leave money left on the table. You go in and I was mowing lawns, I was working, pushing trolleys. I just feel like in this era, it's quite different where um a lot of our younger generation um make money in different creative ways where it's not normally the traditional jobs, but they're doing other things with their time, and so it's good to hear that. Good to hear hard work pays dividends. Bro, I want to bring it back to the ABs and how it shaped your kind of life and values, bro. Like, how did playing for both All Blacks and also Manu shape your identity and perspective on life?
I think the All Blacks. I think the two teams are very different, like perspectives. Like I think All Blacks was like professionalism, about like obviously all both of them are like hard work.
Yeah.
Um, setting your goals, setting like where you want to be. Um, I think for Samoa, that was probably the perspective like um of how far the generations before us had come for this opportunity for us to play for the ABs or to have a career in New Zealand, and seeing that kind of perspective. Because to be fair, the rugby in Samoa is not the best. Like um we it's completely different to All Blacks. Like All Blacks are very process driven. Like we're all about, okay, know our roles. Everyone does their role. Stay within your role. But I think like Samoa's a lot like Italy, Argentina, um, countries that are they just go out, play with
Yeah.
passion and play with heart. Like, and that's why sometimes you see them play, and that some games are like 21-20 against a massive team. And when they play a team, they're like very similar on the table with regards to skill level, and that could be like a 30-6 game. Like it's just depending on how they feel, um how everyone is for the game. Then that's what you're gonna get on Saturday.
What was it like coming from a whole black environment, then you're in Toulon and you were kind of at the tail end of like obviously different cultures, like different ways of how they train and play, and then bringing your learnings as a kind of senior player to Samoa. What were there some things that you like tried to embed uh, or like kind of pass down to some of the younger Manu players when you came through?
Um, yeah, I don't think I probably didn't have enough time, obviously, because you come in, you're all new to
Yeah.
each other, so you don't have that like relationship, like that deep relationship where you can like talk about
Yeah,
all those things. Like,
all quick, yeah.
yeah, it's all kind of quick, and then everyone's just trying to learn the rugby stuff, and it's probably just, if anything, was just trying to be like show them how to be like more professional, like make wiser choices, um, stuff like that. Because it's, to be fair, those guys are just come out of IT and just started playing Super Rugby. There's not a lot of experience. And then other guys that did played a lot of Super Rugby, played a lot of rugby over the UK, but just knowing that like once you're in the World Cup, it's
Whole
like
different
it doesn't, yeah, like little decisions make a massive difference.
And I guess like as you talk about how the All Blacks are real big on systems and processes and knowing your role, and it simplifies it. But also because the All Blacks had what campaign of 18 games,
Yeah.
in the window.
Oh man, and the money that they have, like in regards to, they have probably maybe 20 staff.
Yeah.
Samoa only have like 5. England have probably like 30. Like, it's like it's they got their backs against the wall. Like if you're playing for Samoa, it's like
You're playing for a lofa.
yeah, UEFA. Yeah, bro. So yeah, they're starting from like the first step, but where all these other guys are really truly up the ladder already. Like,
Have you always embraced your Samoan culture? Like, was that a learning um component for you going in culturally, or have you been quite close to your Samoan
Yeah, I
heritage?
think so. I
Yeah.
think so. Like growing up, like mum and dad always spoke Samoan to us. Yeah, and all our cousins and then more went to those kind of like Methodist churches, if I can say churches. So we kind of see been in seeing how it is all.
Was it different wearing the Manu jersey though? Like singing the national anthem?
Yeah.
What was that like for you? Like,
I think it's just more emotionally it
yeah.
was hard. Like it was more touching than playing for the ABs. Whereas, yeah, I think so. I think it's like All Blacks. It was like it's all business.
Yeah.
I'm there,
Interesting.
like I'm there to do a job. Like it is your country too, and it is like doing the haka, singing the anthem. But playing for Samoa was just like every time I was just getting teary eyed.
It's like the Jason Tomalolo effect, right? Like a lot of the when that started, you saw a lot of the high profile NRL players share actually what it meant to them. And I think the common theme from a lot of those players was like, for family and for your parents, and I guess for your parents, when you played for Manu, what was it like for them and your family, and when you debuted?
Yeah, oh man, they were pretty stoked. Yeah, they were happy as. I think I said this in one of the other podcasts. I think most of my family were probably more happy that I played for them than the AVs. Like, because that for them, like, and you see it when you're in the Samoa, like those kids, all they want to be is to play for Samoa. They just want to, as we are here, Kiwi born, we just want to play for the All Blacks because that's what we see and want to do. So for them, like all their lives, they just wanted to be Manu. So for me to go back and play for that country, for our country, they were pretty
That's
happy.
how it goes. That's how it goes, bro. You saw, so obviously you're finished up with the 40, but I've seen you like you finished up playing, but you've been involved with a lot of the training scene. I've seen you popping up, doing some front row stuff for some of the boys in preseason. Do you see yourself coaching in the future, or?
Yeah, I definitely see myself coaching. I think I just got too much knowledge to not be
Yeah.
able to pass on. I am like I'm just helping out. Like someone like asks like Pairs or something, and he's got a whole bunch of front rows, and I'll just swing in and then help them out and just give whatever I can to help them be better rugby players with their scrummaging, I guess.
Did you put on the boots for Pep recently?
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
played
I'm
last
sure
year.
I saw you. I'm sure I saw you on the team sheet somewhere.
Yeah, I played last year. I'll probably play again this year.
Oh, there we
Just
go.
love I love just playing rugby. I love what it's about, like just playing, everyone trying to hurt each other, and then after the game we just have a beer
We
and
never beer.
so yeah.
Oh, crack up. Oh, there we go. The new Premier. Watch out, Auckland Rugby. We've got a experienced front row coming to Club Rugby. Bro. I wanted to kind of come into where you're at now. Like and talk about the transition of rugby. I I have a lot of mates now that have played overseas, and some are considering like at a crossroads of like the start of a family, and they could go on and try cricket for higher honors, but they're also thinking about their career and life after rugby. Like, what has that been like for you? Like transitioning from a busy schedule to where you're at now. Maybe you're busy in a different capacity, but what's the transition been like?
Yeah, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
definitely weird. Like it's different. Like obviously being in a rugby team, like your routines and everything is scheduled out. Like on Monday, or on a Sunday before you come on
Yeah.
Monday, you've got a whole schedule for the whole week. You just okay, I'm in at 9, I'm done by 11, back at 3, done by 5. You know your schedule off by heart because you check it and stuff, but obviously coming back, you just got so much free time, and you
Yeah.
just don't know what to do with yourself. So
Is that halfway?
yeah, that's tough, bro. It's
Yeah.
tough. I ended up starting with I caught up with one of my mates and asked him for a job. I was like, bro, I need a job because waking up at 9 or whatever is just
You
not.
can only drop off the kids so many times.
And then you're just waiting around like, oh, what do I do now? At the gym, but then your motivation, everything just starts going down. Like I wasn't getting the whole win thing. I was just like, this isn't what I want to do. So just slowly trying to fill my week up with things I have to do each week. we'll catch up, we'll coffees with more guys just so we can talk about, because I know a lot of guys are probably just finished within a year, 2 years, so and they're still not got anything full time yet. They just enjoy retirement, or they're just trying to find what's for them.
That's important, eh? Like enjoying that time, and I guess with like when you're playing professionally, and then you have you're playing for a national team, your window to have a break is not much, eh? And then you're right into preseason. So, were you always someone that was good at having a holiday, like come November, December, where you have that kind of window to go on holiday with your family? And
No, I wasn't. We would try to go away somewhere.
Yeah.
And even on holiday, I couldn't really like it takes like. Say if we went away for a week, it took me 5 days to relax.
Yeah.
And then you're there for 2, and you're back here. Because you're just so used to like moving or doing something.
Yeah.
And it's hard to.
I have I struggled over the last the 2 weeks over the break, and I was like, and every day not doing something is being less productive,
Yeah.
and when you're so used to routine, it's quite but at the same time, it's like having that time to empty your brain and have that the silence, is healthy too, but still working on that, and that's me, bro. And so we kind of touched on one of the other podcasts, bro. I want to you mentioned about house flipping. Is that something that's still on the cards? Like you're into property?
Yeah.
So I've heard through the grapevine.
Yeah, I'm into property. Yeah, we got a house now with flipping,
Yeah.
and it's probably gonna go on the market in a couple of weeks. So, but the journey kind of started with my old man.
Yeah.
So obviously my old man, like he's worked at their factory his whole life, but he bought obviously our own family home, but he bought a couple of investment properties as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So at the time we were kids, we just like we'll be the ones that go, and like when some tenants moved out, we'll be there going cleaning it up, changing the carpet, or painting, not changing the carpet. We'll just get all the carpet in there.
Cosmetic
and
stuff.
Yeah, cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So cleaning everything, wiping everything down, and all that kind of stuff. But we would always be like, man, we're doing this all the time,
Yeah.
and it's not even our house, blah blah blah. But come to realize that obviously that's his investments. Been asking him questions as we got older, like why'd you get there?
How did Dad learn that though? Like,
I don't
was
know.
he born in Samoa?
No, he was born in Samoa, yeah. Yeah, worked at a factory all his life. I don't know if he had mates there, he got these ideas from, but like, yeah, obviously when we were growing up young, we didn't understand. But then once we got to high school, he's like, oh, how much is that house worth now? And he's like, oh, it's tripled, like.
Cash cow now.
Yeah. And then he sold up now, like he was like 55. He sold up the other two, paid off his house. Went to Samoa, paid off, built a house in Samoa, so they just go back and forth from Samoa to
Back for the pension.
No, they're not even at pension yet. They're like 63, 60.
Wait, you gotta hear older, you gotta get their pension.
Nah, so he's that's he said he was happy. He's done enough. Now he's just
Are you quite hands on with your properties now that you've finished footy, or you've got a core team?
Or just people that because this one's in Wellington, so this one you kind of relied on someone else's, and they just got all their guys in there, and they're doing it. So it's been good. It's been lots of learnings as well, because we used to flip when I was playing.
Yeah.
And
how do you do that when you're playing, bro?
That was cool. Cause
you're in academy.
No,
you're playing Auckland.
When I was when I was at the Blues, and I think I was just starting with the ABs. We had one made about 60,000. But then the second one, made about.
How fast were you turning the houses around?
It was about like all in was probably like 3 months. All in 3 months.
Yeah.
And it was like a side hustle. It wasn't really. Because obviously you just get it, you can see the numbers, and then you give it to your builder.
But it's all time bound as well.
It's all,
and then materials.
Yeah, most of it's all cosmetic. There wasn't really
so painting,
carpets,
fixtures.
Yeah, fixtures. Sometimes it was new. Obviously, if it was new bathrooms, new kitchens, then that was pretty easy, because if it was a 3-month turnaround, you'd get them in there first day. They would measure up, make it all, and then they'll come in like the second to last week, put them all in, and that wasn't too hard.
Yeah.
But then, like, I had a meeting with the AB's coaches, and they come in and they were like, I heard you into this flipping game, and I was like, oh yeah, it's going good. Like, oh, you just gotta, because at the time I don't know if I was starting to play a bit bad
Yeah.
or maybe they were just thinking like, hey, you got like maybe the World Cup was coming up,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
gotta put a lot more focus into this journey. And then when they told me that, I was like, oh, they put it into perspective. I was like, hey, sweet ass. I parked it up. I just left flipping for now.
Oh, and I guess now is it more of a passive thing that you're just letting roll over, or would you
Yeah,
look?
so we've got a few properties that kind of just roll over, and then we want to start that business. So we've just got the one now got going, and in Wellington that we'll look to keep buying and flipping, but the rest of the stuff will just be all passive. So
Obviously, Rob, you know, that is a business,
yeah,
couch of not couch, house flipping, and you're having to rely on the team, to manage it for you, especially while you're playing footy. What was that like for you, like delegating and finding trusted business partners to make sure that the fit out was done well, and so that you could just focus on footy? How
oh,
did you bring together a team?
it was definitely a learning. Like obviously, it's all word of mouth, like who you can trust and stuff. I mean,
Well, I guess the footy community is a good
yeah,
network, eh?
yeah, then that probably helped too. But there was definitely we had some guys that kind of burnt us as well. Like
Yep.
not like in a bad way, but just like workmanship wasn't up to where we thought it was, and then we're like, nah, it's not gonna work. We just pay you out what you did, and then we got someone else in to who could do a better job
Mm.
or to the standard that we wanted. Yep. But yeah, it was definitely learnings like having processes and like 'cause obviously rugby's rugby, and like I've done that for maybe like 5, 8 years, and that was all right. Like I learned that, but then obviously trying to do a business is very different because you're
Negotiating,
yeah,
dealing with, like you said, someone that kind of not up to the standard. What was that like for you? Like negotiating and like, dealing to someone that's like not up to standard. Like how how did you go about that?
yeah. We just like obviously we were once they started working, then obviously seeing like the workmanship wasn't there, and we just had a chat like, okay, how much work have you done so far? We're not very happy with that kind of level.
Mm.
And then we just ended up just paying them out. It wasn't these guys at the time the market was just hot. Like
Yeah, yeah.
but these guys just had so much work anyway that he was like, okay, just pay me this and I'm out. Well, he wasn't too fussed, but for us it was a good learning. Like we probably needed a bit more homework on each individual guy. And then there were some guys now we'll be still friends with, like that we could trust. Going back to those days.
Bro, that's awesome. So now that you're kind of, I guess, kind of settling into the new routine of life, um, I just saw over the last couple of days you got your new podcast coming out, bro. Tell us a bit more about that.
It's just the most part is it's a sports podcast, but it's got a betting element to it. So it's we make bets on obviously sports, but we like it to be like us going around to teams and not just teams here, but internationally as well. Like that's those are our goals to go and interview people from Australia or America, wherever that want to have us and just yeah, and have a chat, just have a different perspective. Obviously, I've been a past player, like having interviews that are easygoing, like
Yeah.
nothing too stressful, because a lot of our guys don't really want to be.
I was
Wanna,
gonna say, and I was mentioning like before offline, um, I'd never known you, Charlie, to be like a guy on the mic. Like, yeah, you're good on like press conferences and stuff, but now that you're doing your own podcast, do you feel like you've been able to, or you've had a number of interviews, so like you feel like you've learned a lot in footy, be able to transfer that off into this new business venture?
oh no, it was definitely it wasn't. It was just I think it just kind of was an opportunity to come along. Obviously, I'm still very new to this podcast and making.
How many so far you've been on?
Oh man, I've been. Oh, I don't know. I've been about maybe 6, 7 podcasts.
Quite recently, though.
Yeah, quite recent, just back to back. And it's been cool. Like it's a way to tell my story for people to connect if if that's their cup of tea. But it's just I think it's a cool little opportunity for us to start something else that
Yeah.
we'll see what comes from it. I guess.
Mm. Hey, bro, I guess one of the other questions I want to ask was around some maybe for our listeners out there that are kind of juggling body or juggling the what life throws at them. What are some key points around being able to manage like your business and just the life around you? So, sorry, I'll just ask the question. Um, what advice would you give to athletes preparing for life after sports?
You're probably gonna have to um, just make a plan. Have a plan
Yeah,
for what you're gonna do when you think you're gonna finish. I like to think that I was pretty well prepared for when I finished. That's when I got home. I wasn't like it really hit me in the face. Like I was like, we have all this property and stuff, but it like can't get that out. Obviously properties pay it's all paper money. Like
yeah.
it's all in banks, you got to sell it. It's not liquid straight away, like shares or something like that. Oh, that stuff is, and that was a bit of a wake up. Like,
Did you ever get into like more liquid investments like
nah,
crypto and
nah,
all that? Is that something that interests you?
nah.
Yeah,
If I had a bit more money to like money that I could get rid of, like money that
be
if
happy
I
to.
lost it,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I wouldn't be too worried about it. Yeah, I'll definitely go down to crypto. Maybe not so much now because it's pretty high at the moment.
yeah, yeah. It costs a lot.
One of my mates told me about crypto when I was at 4,000 euros, which
Yeah,
would have been about 8,000 NZ. Now it's about 100 or something, isn't it?
yeah,
I was like, yeah, that was the missed opportunity. But obviously, about the transition, like you got to be as much as you're getting all this money and you want to have a good time with it, you got to prepare for life after rugby. Obviously, I went down the real estate route. I tried to take as many boys as I could down that route, and I think probably one thing if I could have done better was probably try and get a business before I finished. Help the cash flow go way better, and then once I come back, if I had it established like 2 years before I got back, then it would have been a lot more easier for banks to help you a lot because that's all banks care about at the moment is just income. They want
yeah,
to see income, whereas property isn't like it's got income, but it's not as much as like
yeah,
say a business and yeah.
yeah, bro. Well, you've had a successful career, and along the track, you would have had people like from all walks of life. But what has there been any key advice from key people that you've been able to take with you throughout your whole career? You mentioned your father, but have there been any coaches and or have they have given you any key advice?
Oh no, I don't think so. Like all the coaches I had were awesome in their own way, I guess. But no, nothing that kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, all good, bro. Bro, we're heading towards the end of our podcast. Thanks for sharing a lot about your career and uh the other side of Charlie. It's really good, really refreshing to hear about your journey and whatnot. But what's a legacy do you want to leave behind, both as a retired rugby player and as a father, family man?
I guess as a rugby player, oh man, I've said this before. It wasn't so much to do with rugby, but it was just probably like having a legacy of like, especially for our PI boys, to be prepared for after they finish rugby to put our money to good use, to not spend it so unwisely, because to say no to family members as well, or you're trying to set up something that's gonna go for generations. We keep giving money away, or we keep spending things on new cars and stuff like that. Then that's the opportunity that you had that like generations before sacrifice for you to get to where you were, and you've just like I let it go, let the opportunity go. So I always try to get the boys to try to invest, try and speak to people. I got like some of the people that I worked with, lawyers, property guys, to come through when I was at the Blues and stuff to try and help the boys. And to be fair, a few boys did come, and if I could just get one, I was pretty happy. But just to give them a different perspective, you guys did. So that'll probably be the legacy I love to be, and then hopefully that just keeps going. That a lot more boys are more smarter with their money.
Are you doing some stuff with some other retired players here in Auckland, or are you You catch up with the boys?
Yeah,
Or-
we try to catch up for coffees every now and then. Obviously, everyone's schedules are pretty different, but I think now that everyone's come back from holiday, we'll be catching up with a few of the boys again.
Also-
And it's just a mocking session, bro. That's all it is, eh? So
Yeah.
but it's just always good to catch up and reminisce with some of the boys. So
And yes, Charlie, bro. That's us for the podcast today. But really appreciate your time today, and I really love how like you're in the season now, just giving back and getting into new business ventures, and hopefully our listeners here today got some key pointers from Charlie and his journey, but also now we can follow you on this next step of your journey and see what you're coming about. But we appreciate the time.
appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me.
Sticky.